My next guest started cooking when he was 8 years old. 21 years on, he's written 5 cookbooks, provided hope to many disadvantaged young people. He's trained at his restaurant 15 and generally given the idea of the way we cook a good kick up the backside. His latest venture will be his toughest so far. He's going to try to improve school food. Bon chance. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Oliver.
Hello.
Hello. You're a man who likes a challenge, aren't you?
I do.
School dinners, gosh almighty. What gave you that idea to try and revolutionise school dinners to improve them?
Back in the 50s, I guess, you know, comprehensive education was invented, you know, and we want, rich or poor, black or white, we want to give every kid the same chances and possibilities in education. Great idea, wonderful philosophy, and, you know, schools have, you know, pushed on and do their things, but from 12 till 1 every day, no one gives a crap, you know, and it doesn't make sense, you know, because basically, if they eat badly, actually, it slows their concentration down. They have big highs and then big lows after lunchtime, and the parent, you know, the teachers have to put up with it.
Well, how bad is it? How bad is the situation?
The country essentially is in crisis, basically. That's what I believe. You know, the last time I looked at a website, you know, it was 31 pence for an average child's meal, and, you know, in prison, 60 pence, you know, for someone that's committed a crime. And it just drives me mad. And I suppose I'm quite a happy bloke, mate. You know, I'm a bit angry, really.
Right, so what are you doing about this? You've got Greenwich, the borough of Greenwich have given you their schools.
Yeah,
and
well, I didn't quite give it to me. I had to sort of prove myself a bit.
All right, but so now you're going to actually, you're going to drastically change the way that kids eat.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. I mean, it's... Parky, this is very frustrating for me because, you know, I've done many things in my career and I generally stick to things I'm good at. And actually, what do I know about being a dinner lady? Which is essentially what I've been for a year. And, you know, you can do all you want, but like the other day I took out some tasters into the playground and I cooked these lovely things. I went out with it, 3 trays of free food, right? And I'm giving it, and like they're going, what is it? What is it? What is it? It's minging. It's minging. Oh, it looks like puke. And everything I've built up over years, I'm thinking, oh, quite a good cook, aren't I? And it's like, it should fade away. But eventually they taste it and they have a little go, and if they do taste it and they're a bit open-minded, they like it. You know, but you have to kind of get against that.
It's a slow process.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, now, but, I mean, presumably, I mean, with something like this, if you prove a point in Greenwich, then it gets taken up nationwide, doesn't it?
I suppose my dreams, my hopes, my ambitions for doing this is really, if I can take over one school and then roll it out amongst the Greenwich and get the support of the parents of Greenwich, the head teachers of Greenwich, the teachers of Greenwich, and most importantly, the dinner ladies, who are the most fantastic people. I want to get them on side and to think that they're worth something and that they can do something. And then, if I can do that, I reckon that the government, finally, and if I can kick up a bit of a fuss and upset a few people, I reckon the government... I mean, I'm not trying to get the government to spend more money. I'm trying to get them to save it. I don't want them to spend it at the end when they are fat or haven't been to the toilet for 6 weeks, you know. In Durham, first place in the country where, you know, kids... there's a clinic set up for constipation. And, you know, what has this country got to? And
obese children too, of course.
Yeah, well, it is obesity. Yeah. But if you are eating very unhealthy food every day, at school and at home, it doesn't mean you're fat. You know, you can be a skinny old rake. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a whole mixture of things. But it's really touched my heart, and I think I'd like to think I'm going to win it, really.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, it's interesting about you, see. I mean, here you are, you're a hugely successful young man, a successful cook, television series, big TV star. I mean, what normal people would do in this situation is sit down and get themselves a Michelin star, 2 Michelin stars, 3 Michelin stars. You don't do that.
Well, I don't think like I'm a super-duper person. I think I've been very... I feel that I grew up in a pretty working-class environment, really. I mean, I think my parents, when they were my age, setting up business, they were working class, and they've done really, really well. And I think I've gone into it young, very passionate, and then had this big blast and 46 countries around the world, 10 million book sales, you know, I don't deserve that. You know, you can't make someone buy a book, you know. I suppose generally I think I've done all right, you know, and when you've done that, you think, well, you should really start to try and help other people help themselves. I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but...
it doesn't sound cheesy at all.
But when you... 15 has totally changed my life, and you know what? It was well worth remortgaging my house. So it was, you know, when you see kids that have been in and out of prison or homes, or just sort of not really blossomed, and in 1 year you take them from slouchy, spitty, horrible, cocky, you know, people that you see down the road and you probably try and avoid, you know, to sort of like sparkly-eyed, beautiful, enthusiastic, most importantly, polite little kids, wicked. Now that's proper.
And the great... and the admirable thing about it is that once you've done that with them and they move on and they get their own restaurant, then you'll continue to support them, providing they bring in staff from your restaurant. So it's like it's a continuum, isn't it? It's a chain. Yeah.
Well, I saw this film once. I can't remember what it was, but it was called... And the kid said, "Pay it forward." You know, and that's always stuck in my mind. I thought, that's a beautiful thing, pay it forward. And the idea of 15 is that you teach through giving love and support and mentoring, most importantly. And then as they leave the nest, and most people that train people don't want them to leave, you incentivise them to stay.
That's right.
We do the opposite. You know, once they graduate, we send them out the country, they come back, they get a job, sometimes they get a job in the other country. And then if they want to pop back in over the years, we tap in 6 monthly, see what they're doing. And then after 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, I've got a trustee group of about 10 people that sort of see how they're doing. And if they've been working somewhere good, you get the reviews and you kind of get a feel if they're good or not. And when they want to open their own restaurant, absolutely 15 will be there to guarantor, support, offer money, you know, branding and all those other things for them to open their own restaurant on the condition that they haven't turned into a major arsehole on the way. You know, there's no point in being really good at cooking and then turning into sort of someone that ain't going to carry forward the 15 vibe, which is to sort of mentor. So, you know, if they're good, they'll get looked after. That's all I can say.
But what's interesting about you, I mean, let's talk about your book now. You've done another book. You said 10 million copies of your books. This is called Jamie's Dinners. I mean, there's a link, isn't there, between what the school meals and this Jamie's Dinner?
Sort of. I mean, the book and the series isn't really tied in content. I mean, you know, I took the brief for school dinners, which is sort of economic, easily accessible, easy, tasty and nutritious food. And that was my brief for the book. And then I started thinking, right, if I can't cook, I'm not very good, what am I going to do? So, OK, first of all, first chapter, top 10. I want the things that are going to easy please all my mates. So you're going to do a list of... I did a whole thing on my website and I got people from all around the world giving me their top 10 and I sort of edited it down and then picked all the best ones. And then 5-minute wonders, you know, and I timed myself and I cooked really slowly and I timed myself and all the recipes. And I was just trying to make a book that would make anyone that's a raving idiot be able to cook a half-decent meal.
I'm a raving idiot.
Yeah. And, you know... I suppose it sounds a bit pretentious, but, you know, when you look back, I don't really buy modern books because they're all doing their own thing. I look back and, you know, 100, 200 years, handwritten old books, and to get inspiration about what's going on. And there was some great cooking going on hundreds of years ago. But, you know, more recently than that, you know, my book, I wanted to make my book more of a bit of a Fanny Craddock, really, sort of something that everyone could use. And it's a pretty hard act to follow, but that was... what I've tried.
And now, I mean, from all that, I mean, sure, the most extraordinary thing that's ever happened to you is this notion now that Hollywood are going to make a film out of 15. It's a great story, of course.
Yeah, I don't think it's nothing about me, actually. I guess when I look back at Jamie's Kitchen, I think, you know, 15 kids, down and out, you know, a geezer making a life change and it all going a bit pear-shaped and trying to get to a mission. And, of course, you know, now it's set in New York. And you know, it's sort of slightly Americanised, which is probably better for the film world, I imagine.
What about there's also been stuff in the press about the marriage being in trouble?
Yeah, I'm in crisis, yeah.
You're in crisis?
Oh, it's just boring, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's boring anyway, but when they put it on the front page of a paper, you know, I mean, even when Jules got pregnant, the family found out before we told them, and it's just like, Christ, you know, and you have like the journalists phone up pretending that an accident happened so they can find out the due date and all that business, and then when everything's all right, they're telling you that it's in tatters and it's in crisis. So, I mean, I suppose I've got broad shoulders, but, you know, Jules is crying her eyes out, you know, when it happened. But, you know, first time it happened, and then they tried to do it a second time, but we stopped it that time.
But you're OK?
Well, yeah, people, you get the public start to think there's no smoke without fire, you know? Yeah. So, no, very happy. And she's a good girl and a great mum. And I must say, I've never been happier, so...
That's fair enough. And what about and finally, you're going to America to live?
No, I've been going backwards and forwards to America for about 5 years now, probably for about a month a year. Into maybe 6 weeks a year I go. We're going for 3 months just to live there. Just New York is an amazing city.
It is.
And we don't get grief there. And Jules loves it. And to be honest, it was her call. And we're coming back for Christmas. And I'm not leaving the country.
Well, that's to our benefit. Jimmy Oliver, thank you very much. Jimmy Oliver.